Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cure of the Common Game. Let's talk about Kuon. I'm pretty sure. 60-40, I'm pronouncing that right. So, you gotta kill 3 creatures. And then he flips into a, what is that, an abyss? At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacks a creature. Yeah. So, obviously, it's, the object here is to sacrifice triggers and things like that. Not a lot of, I don't know, ingenuity for this deck. It's pretty straightforward. But first, let's get to our mana. Mono black, we ain't got a ton. Whoa. Well, these are slippery sleeves. Of course, we have the Dark Ritual, the Bubbling Muck, Sisay's Ring, Worn Power Stone, and Songs of the Damned. Because I figure we are going to have quite a few creatures in the graveyard. Songs of the Damned. I mean, it's been an incredibly long time since I've played this. Buddy got a combo off with it like 96-ish, and I was just sold. So, I don't know. But I guess first we need to look at our creatures. Because that's what it's all about, right? Getting creatures into the yard. Well, we got a Fleshbag Marauder, and I know what you're thinking. Fleshbag Marauder has been eclipsed by the Plague Crafter. But you know what? There's no reason not to play both, or even all 3 of them. Because this way, because Kuon says, what, 3 creatures? Here we go. We're a multiplayer, so minimum there's going to be 3 people in the game or more, so they're going to flip him. Now, Sifter of Skulls. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you get a Scion. Now, obviously this is a perfect token to sacrifice to the flipped commander. Let me look through here first, because there's a favorite card here. Whenever, let's look at Hell's Caretaker. Now, true, you can only do this during your upkeep, but you're doing it once a turn. Well, per your turn. So you're trading an alive creature for a dead creature. So it's really good. So naturally, the creatures I kind of leaned toward was either enters play or leaves play triggers. Like everybody's favorite, Meteor Golem. Now, for 7 mana, I mean, it's what we got for, artifacts and enchantments. We don't really have anything else. We're mono black. But if we have the ability to swap this in and out of the graveyard with the Hell's Caretaker, that's pretty sweet. And if we're swapping it with like a Necrotal, kill a creature, and then next turn swap it for the Golem, and next turn swap. Oh, it's so good. So good. Now, Gravedigger, if we're swapping it back and forth, we're getting another creature back to our hands. So yes, you still have to cast that creature, but in essence, we're not losing anything except for, mana and tempo. Anyway, never mind. Disciple of Bolas. It's a really good enter the battlefield trigger. It's really good. Now, you do have to sacrifice another creature, but that's kind of a theme. You'll notice there's quite a few cards that are sacrifice a creature to do whatever. I didn't go like full on Hecatomb with this one. I didn't. Only because I didn't think about it till like right now. And I probably should, because it's me. To Viscera Seer, there's no reason. It does everything we're wanting to do. Scrying, because we don't have a whole lot of card draw. I mean, we got some. We'll get to it here in a minute. And it lets us sacrifice a creature. Tenacious D. Is this guy not perfect? Because he just comes back. And so does reassembling skeletons. So you can sack them and just more or less cast them from the graveyard. Now, Ashen Ghoul is kind of an older version. It does that weird nether shadow thing where you got to have stuff on top of it. And there's rules clarifications by they used to say you couldn't reorder your graveyard, and it's actually still on his Oracle page, as players are not allowed to reorder their graveyard, but it also defines as a card being on top of it by a card entering the graveyard after it. So yeah, we have Haunted Dead. When it enters the battlefield, you get a token, so there you go. And, if you want it back bad enough to discard 2 cards, you can get it back, and it gets another token. So we have, of course, Malakir Blood Witch, because, I mean, there's no reason not to. White of Precinct 6. Now, I haven't played this deck. Actually, as of this moment, y'all, every deck y'all see, I'm probably building, and I have just gotten it built, and I haven't played them yet. So, but I think this guy is going to be the MVP. I mean, he's fine early. He's really good late. And it's kind of, I mean, the Elite just does your graveyard, and I guess that's all right, because, I mean, we have the Mortician Beetle. Whoa, this is really good with all those flesh bag type effects. Right? Zulapor Cutthroat. Marginal life, but it's another creature you control, so, I mean, we're at least going to be triggering it once a turn. We have good old Anawan. Yeah, we ain't playing a whole lot of... I think he's the only vampire. Don't care. It's all about sacking stuff. I'll be honest with you. I was doing a Gatherer search, and this thing popped up. I've never seen this card. How is this possible? Okay. Okay. Especially, how is it possible when I read it on Gather and I went, Grim Haruspects? And I went to the cons binder, and there it was. So evidently I've seen it before. I just never read it, because when I get the new cards and stuff, I'm sorting them into a binder, and I look at that dang collector's number. Right there. That's what I'm looking at. And getting the right card in the right pocket as fast as I can. I'll look at the cards later. Evidently I never did, because... What? And especially, this is amazing. I don't really care so much about the morph, but drawing a card? Sweet. I should have put that in the card draw section. Now, Bone Dancer. It goes back to one of those old, you attack, don't deal damage to do effect, to steal one of their dead creatures. Hey, I'm down with that. It's a 2/2 anyway. Singir Autocrat. I can't decide if I love it or hate it. I mean, for this deck, I definitely love it. You get 3 tokens that you can sacrifice, and then you can swap him back and forth with the Hell's Caretaker. Good old Mike. I mean, so that way the stuff you sack, it comes back. And it's a little bigger. Archfiend of Depravity. Now, let's get into our card draw. Of course, we have Sign in Blood, because my mother-in-law would kill me if I did not put Sign in Blood in a mono black deck. She loves this card. Actually, she's got a story time here. Her thing is she kills people with Sign in Blood. The worst phrase you ever want to hear her say is, "Oh, you're it too." I keep telling her that she needs to get a sign in blood and make everybody that she's killed with it sign it. Oh, it'd be great, especially if it was like a red Sharpie or something. But uh, I've tried to get her every version that there is of Sign in Blood. She's got regular, she's got full, she's got the textless, whatever. But every deck she's playing, you can bet it's going to have black in it. Yeah, she likes Bolus and all, but it's for Sign in Blood because she likes to use it as a shock. Just funny. Anyway, we got Sign in Blood, Read the Bones, Ambition's Cost, Night's Whisper, Sanguimancy, which, here again, kind of like that dang zombie, I don't know if I'm responsible enough to play this card. Because the thing about black, it took me a while to learn this about black, and I realize I'm late to the party sometimes, and y'all may have already figured this out. The flavor, when you boil down to the flavor of the color black wants you to play more black. It's that evil. It wants to all encompass you into the color. That's why there are so many cards that are like triple black in the casting cost. Or cards that reward you for like the whole Swamps Matter theme, or Cabal Coffers, Nightmare. All of those things are black wants you to play more black. A true, the color itself will suck you in. And that's awesome from a game standpoint that a color will do that. And here's one again, because you draw this card and instantly the first thing you do is you count up your devotion, and then the greed monster sets in, and you're like, how much more can I get? But in this case, you're losing life. But you're also drawing cards, but let's power at any cost. That's black. Now, we got Smothering Abomination, because whenever you sack a creature, draw a card, and it gives you another sacrifice trigger, pretty good. Of course, we're going to have our grave pack, because, if we're losing, they might as well lose too. If we're going to have to sack, then they should have to sack doubly. Now, I'll be honest with you, I have never cast Bonus Hunter before, and I feel like this is doing something in Standard, or has done something, I don't know. Ascend in EDH is just about a gimme, because, we're going to, hell, most of the time you got 10 lands. So, I want half, Eddie. Tragic Slip, you're always going to be able to hit that Morbid ability. It looks like we're going into spot removal time, so I'm going to go through these quick. Murder, Ruinous Path, Doomblade. By the way, that is ballin' art, and I would love to see this particular art foiled. Yes, I am part raccoon. I love the shiny things. Terror, Tendrils of Corruption. Remember what I was telling you about black wants you to play more black? This card, oh, there we go. It's just, it's 4 mana. But more than likely, you're killing a creature and gaining a ton of life. Now let's look at sack outlets. Smallpox, one of everything. I didn't include big pox, or, well, regular pox, because regular pox is a third of everything, and I don't really want to ditch a third of my hand or a third of my lands. So, creatures in the life, totally good with. But here, just one, that's no big deal. Innocent Blood. 1 mana, that's kind of awesome. But for some reason, when you double the effect, you quadruple the cost. Which, I guess that would have been... Can you imagine if this cost 2? I don't know. Playing Skullstorm, because I got one, and it's, if they can't sacrifice a creature, which there's so much removal and sack outs in this deck, Oh gosh. Nine mana though. Ugh. 9 mana's rough. So you're only going to cast it when you can get everybody at half-life. I mean, that's even then. Well, let's do the math here. If you've got a table of 4 players, you plus 3, and you've successfully killed all the creatures on the board, and you cast Skullstorm, you've invested 9 mana and a card, technically. You're going to get the effect, copy it for each time. Well, all you've got to do is have your commander in play, and you get it twice. Because you get the original Skullstorm, and then you cast your commander, so you get that copy. So all you got to do is have your commander in play, which by the time you get 9 mana, he's probably going to be. And they got to sacrifice 2 creatures. They can't because you've already killed everything. So, assuming nobody's taking any damage, they're going from 40 to 20 and from 20 to 10. So you're setting everybody at 10. Okay, maybe now it's worth 9 mana now that I think about it. Anyway, Black Sun, Extinguish All Hope, Crux of Fate. I'm going to give this Ritual of Soot a try. Because, man, is it just me, or are there more token decks now than ever? Mutilate, wanting you to play more black. And then the little Mutilate, Nausea. Now, I'm running Extinction because I really wanted a personal board wipe. Because this way, if there's a clear and present enemy at the table, somebody who has, and you know, a lot of times there's that, why do I always go to elves? There's that elf deck that's out of hand, or the merfolk deck, or God forbid, slivers. So, Languish, Infest, Final Revels, Golden Demise. I'm really kicking this Ascend thing here, ain't I? And here's one that, ooh, I wouldn't even cast unless I had the Ascend. Well, I don't, depending on the circumstance, I guess. Now, let's roll through these lands before we get to the rest of it. Of course, I've got the Barren Moor, the Temple of the False God that we're not supposed to be playing, Rogue's Passage, because, you know, it's me. I did about 500 of them. And Cabal Stronghold. The Cabal Stronghold's the reason why we're running, what, 30 million swamps? I don't know. But the last thing, section I want to look at here is to bring stuff back. Now, Ashen Powder is 4 mana. 4 mana is, oh, what's that? The first one that I can't remember now. It's a con. God. But anyway, I think this one may be on the list. I'm not sure. It's so old. But the category is steal dead things. You know, Rise from the Grave does it for 5. It's a graveyard. Yeah, it turns it into a zombie, but you know, you win some, you lose some. Necromantic Summons. Here again, a graveyard. And more than likely, you're going to have 2 or more instants because you've probably blew some things up at that time. So it's going to interplay with 2/1/1 counters on it, which is pretty sweet. You know what's better than that? Let's crank this all the way up to 7 mana. And let's make it an instant. Indestructible and Scry 2. Now, most of the time it doesn't seem worth it. It just does not seem, this effect does not seem worth 7 mana. And you can tell when they made this card, they were trying to make it worth 7 mana. They were like, okay, we're going to make it indestructible. that looks like the object of the card. And then it's like, well, let's reward it for sorcery speed. Let's scry 2. Still not enough. I mean, if you gained a life equal to its toughness or drew cards, anyway, but this deck, it's not that bad, you know. And our last card is, of course, Rise of the Dark Realms. Because after this much sacrificing, there's no reason why you wouldn't want to run this. Now, this may, in fact, be the last Rise of Dark Realms I have. It's one of those cards that you pick up if you see it in a trade binder or stuff like that. I don't really so much get to do a lot of trading anymore because most of the cards I have are going toward this project I'm doing. So, like the other day when I needed that Get Rog monster, he said, "Where's your trade stuff?" We were sitting in a card shop, and I'm like, "We're sitting in it. I'll buy whatever you want to trade for it." So, anyway, that's about it for Kuon. I'm really actually kind of excited to play this. As I'm recording this, this is a Wednesday. I happen to be off today, and I may put this in the box for Friday and see if I can't give it a go. And I don't know, it almost seems a little on the unfun side. But like I said, I do appreciate y'all watching, and y'all let me know what you think. But right now, I think we're going to shuffle and cut.